Well, me and Bridget talked about it, and we decided to jump on the bandwagon and take this class and go to France.
We were actually driving to work, and crazy idea. Do you want to go to France? Yeah, I'll go to France. Okay. And there we were.
I think it's an advantage to go in college because we're young and we have the mobility. I mean, when we're older and we have jobs, you know, it's not going to be as easy to go to France as it is now.
I'm looking forward to seeing Paris, especially all the sights and sounds of Paris and the lights and just the French food and pastries and wine and everything.
I'm most interested in the historical aspects of it, and one of my minors is French.
I think it's really cool that the school offered this as a trip and a class because it's something that you would not really expect to do.
You know, you see it in textbooks, you see, and you hear the recordings on CD, but to actually go to the place and see it in person, it's going to be great.
I'm looking forward to seeing Normandy because I've always been interested in World War II ever since I was in high school.
I'm really interested in the French food and the French wine, above all, and the culture, too, definitely.
Very interesting that I could actually go to France for our class and get credits for it, and it would be a really good experience.
This might be the only time I ever get to go. I also really have this passion to travel the world, so this is like a step in the right direction.
It seemed cheap, which was good. So that's definitely a part of it, and just my background in history.
I think it'll be like amazing to just put everything that I've studied in real life in front of my face.
An experience that most people just dream about.
I get to gain a lifelong goal. I'm going to France.
So in February, we had kind of a reception at the Cara Alumni House.
We're going to one of the most civilized countries in the world that has one of the greatest relationships with the United States. We're going as representatives both of our country and, as importantly, of California University of Pennsylvania.
It's really interesting because the owners of Chez Gerard, which is a local French restaurant, came and they gave us some information on what to expect in the city, what to expect in the country, what to expect when you're eating.
Yes, for the food, try everything. Even try the snails. You would be surprised. If you can eat chicken wings, you can eat snails.
For most of you, you never traveled, and stuff like that, I'm sure you're gonna have great fun because you're not alone.
And there were also, I believe, a handful of students that were giving presentations, which was really helpful.
The cafe in French is a really special place for French people because they consider it the third part of the day, besides work and being home. Many Frenchmen are obliged to stop at a cafe nearly every day on the way home from work.
And in 2002, France was ranked #1 in wine production in the world. They made over 5 million metric tons of wine.
A different rule in France is you do keep your hands on the table. It is rude for you to keep your hands in your lap, because this comes back from back in the good old days with the Sun King and whatever. They thought you would be playing with the legs of the ladies next to you if you had your hands in your lap. That's a no-no.
Of course, we got the rules and regulations of the trip. And it was really good to just kind of clear up any questions we had, or if anyone was nervous about anything, it was just kind of taken care of. So.
It is snowing, a blizzard outside. It's crazy. All the flights above us and below us are canceled. We don't know what to do.
Only one on time.
And we're going.
We're from Cal U. We're enjoying the trip too. Spring break, yeah.
Bye. See you in Detroit. Au revoir.
We started in Pittsburgh, flew to Detroit, and then Detroit to Paris.
Bonjour. I love the language. It's beautiful.
Je t'aime.
À tout à l'heure. That means I'll see you later.
À tout à l'heure.
Je commande un frankfurter, s'il vous plaît. I would like to order a hot dog, please.
Au revoir.
I was excited that I was there. Couldn't believe that I was there. I just really wanted to go up the Eiffel Tower.
Our first day was Monday, and we started it off with a bus tour around the city. We saw a lot of the smaller monuments as well as the big monuments.
This bridge is not only beautiful, it was a technical matter.
But we drove past the Arc de Triomphe and everyone got to see it, and we drove by the Eiffel Tower and we got to get out of the bus and take some pictures and things, but it was probably the windiest, rainiest day of the whole trip.
There's the Eiffel Tower in the distance, and everyone was trying to take pictures in front of the Eiffel Tower, and umbrellas were flying everywhere. People were screaming. It was almost like it was a hurricane going on or something. It was pretty funny.
But the fact that it was so windy and so crazy, I think made it more memorable.
So later that afternoon on Monday, some of the students went to Fontainebleau. It's a 40-mile bus trip south of Paris, and it's 8 centuries old. A lot of the royalty, the kings and things would go there on their retreats, and actually Napoleon had a few apartments there. And it was really interesting because a lot of monarchs were born there, and it's just a really, really beautiful place, really rich in history and culture.
You walk up these steps, and the library just goes on and on and on. I really didn't see the back of the library, so that was really neat, seeing just walls and walls of books, and they had all these paintings and drawings of French history within in the library. The ceilings in the chapel were huge, and all these, it seemed like every room had paintings on top of it.
The city reminded me a lot of a normal American city, only it was older and it looked better, if that makes sense. You would think that being that it is older, it would be more run down, but it was a lot better kept than, let's say, Pittsburgh.
It was weird how old everything was, and it would be like a shopping center. When if it was in America, it would be a historical landmark, and you'd be taking tours of it.
And I was just excited for the whole trip. I was just blown away. I just couldn't believe I was there. It was like surreal. I just didn't believe it.
When we woke up, it stopped raining. That was one of the prettiest mornings in Paris. And it was really cool because we stood outside the hotel room and we were actually a couple blocks down from a school, an elementary school. So like all the parents were walking their kids to school and the dads were carrying their babies to daycare and the crossing guard was saying hi to everyone he knew. It was really cute. It was really cool. It was really a calm thing. We walked down to this one store and got some snacks.
La scène est aventureuse, de Châtillon à Mairie, et son humeur voyageuse plane à travers le pays.
Tuesday morning was a beautiful day. We all got on a bus and we took a tour to Chartres, which is a town that's well known for its beautiful cathedral.
You can see really, actually there is a mix of architecture as I explained, but you can tell like the steeples are really different. Huh? So you remember Romanesque, it's very simple, it's the dark age, okay? So it's very austere architecture, very simple, no flowers, no sculptures, very simple. That's how you recognize. The arches are round, okay? And then Gothic pointed arches.
People were actually still using it, and it was bizarre to be in a building that existed for 400 years, even before we had like a country.
And the cathedral was really, really beautiful inside.
The streets are really narrow. There are lots of little bakeries and shops and restaurants and things, and it was just really cute.
And I bought the best chocolate ever in that town.
And it was actually my favorite town of the trip. I'm really into medieval architecture and medieval towns, and that's what it was. It was a really small, cute town. Oh, it was amazing.
Tuesday afternoon, we went to the Château de Chambord, which was enormous. They actually had 365 chimneys, so you really could use one every day of the year, except on leap year.
Because I'm a theater major, they told us that Molière, the most famous French playwright of all time, he used to perform here for the royal court.
And it was just absolutely gorgeous. It's 500 years old, built in the Renaissance, and just so beautiful.
Always greet people with bonjour, bonjour monsieur, bonjour madame, and give a nice handshake and don't smile.
You would say, excusez-moi de vous déranger, j'ai un problème. But that would be, excuse me for bothering you, but I have a problem.
Je t'aime, which means I love you.
Wednesday morning, we visited the Château de Chenonceau, which is unique because it's on the Cher River. It was originally a manor house that was built up, and now it's this enormous castle.
And I thought it was interesting that Catherine de' Medici took the castle from her husband's mistress when he died because she was jealous. I think that was one of my favorite ones because you could see how everyone lived.
The rooms were so intricate. The beds, they didn't look very comfortable, but they looked really neat to sleep in.
The gardens outside were really, really beautiful. kind of felt like I was on the secret garden when we were there.
When we went to Amboise, it was pretty neat because the chateau was almost, well, the town was almost a part of the actual chateau. It kind of all went in together. So you walked into the town and then you made your way up to the chateau. It was kind of cool.
Oh, look at her!
And what's really interesting about the chateau is on the hill in the courtyard, there's a little chapel, and that is actually where Leonardo da Vinci's remains are buried. Apparently they were originally at a different part of the same property, but the bones were dug up and all that's left has been moved to that chapel. So it was really interesting, really historical, and you know, artistic, so it was fun.
I'm real excited to try French food.
Okay, can I have a blanche?
Animals made from chocolate. They're extremely intricate in design and all that, so I kind of felt weird eating it, but it was very, very good. Very good.
At Blue Office, the winery, it was really neat that the wine was actually stored in the cave. I've been to a couple wineries before, but never in a cave.
That was one of the coolest wineries I've ever been in because it was in a cave. It was cool to see how exactly they make the wine in bulk. And where it's made, and they were really friendly too. And of course the wine tasting part was fun.
It's a sexy wine.
C'est bon. Si, c'est bon.
Another one? Sec rosé. Is this the champagne?
Is this not champagne?
Similar.
I need to make sure it gets back okay. Is somebody? Yes.
I think we all had a lot of wine. A lot of us decided that we weren't going to spit any of it back out. We were going to drink it all, and that made for a rowdier bus on the way back. But it was a lot of fun. Everyone was a little friendlier, I guess. Ready to go to dinner, which was also in a cave.
Thursday we saw Mount St. Michel, and it was on top of a granite rock, this beautiful abbey. We had to walk all the way up to the top, lots of stairs.
Something like 800, 900 steps.
The steps were a little trying. but cool because the view is incredible. And I can see why nobody ever bothered the monks, because no one wanted to walk up all those stairs.
But when we got there, there was this really kind of hidden courtyard in the center, and it was really neat, all the pillars and everything.
Mont Saint-Michel is definitely one of my favorite places because it was like its own little city in this little walled area on a mountain in the English Channel. It was really cool. The streets were really narrow, and it actually gave you a feel for what a small European town was like, even if it was a bunch of souvenir shops.
There were all these little shops, just locally owned, and handmade things and restaurants, and lots of really interesting stuff to do and see and buy.
C'est magnifique.
Thursday afternoon, we went to Saint-Malo and walked on the ramparts of Port St. Thomas. And it was really beautiful. There were people windsurfing. There was a windsurfing school of some sort that was going on when we were there. And it's just surrounded by water. It's really historical. They had their official piracy license, which I thought was really cool.
I played with this seagull for like 20 minutes trying to get it to come over. I fed him chocolate at first, and then when he figured out I had Pringles, he was completely disinterested in the chocolates.
I told you! He doesn't like you.
She's pissed.
Oh, he's shunning you.
On Friday, we went to Omaha Beach, which was really great because it's famous for the Allies landing on June 6, 1944 in World War II.
Under the command of General Eisenhower, Allied naval forces, supported by strong air forces, began landing Allied armies this morning on the northern coast of France.
It's hard to believe how many people died here. It seems so peaceful.
Everyone was very respectful, and we all wanted to take home sand and seashells, so we were all out collecting for our friends and family and, you know, to keep for ourselves. It was really interesting.
We finally saw where America did something amazing.
And walking in the bunkers that have basically been untouched too since then, it gave you a really creepy, eerie feeling, and it was a very, very solemn day for everyone, I think, but at the same time, I think it was something we needed.
I was really happy we went there.
We went to the American Cemetery, which is a cemetery for American soldiers who died in World War II.
So my friends, thank you for coming. And of course, as I told you, we'd like to have 1 minute of silence for all those soldiers who died, to liberate us, of course.
All those people died. I don't even know how many crosses were there, but all those people died, you know, on D-Day. It was kind of amazing.
I don't know, it's hard to understand the fact that they were all killed, like, at the same time.
I think one of the worst things was seeing the unknown soldiers, because it would say, here lies a comrade in arms, known only to God. So it was a really moving experience. It was one of my favorite.
But it was an experience to see. That's something I won't forget.
And the cemetery covers over 170 acres, and more than 9,000 military personnel are buried there.
Hey, you know.
We took a tour of the capital city of Normandy, which is Rouen, and we took a guided tour of the cathedral there in Rouen.
Pleasant to have a little color on the walls, because otherwise, you know, in the old days there were tapestries.
There were still people, like the townspeople in there, and they still use it as their everyday cathedral.
When we were finished, we were free to just kind of walk around and check out all the local happenings. There was no traffic, which is great, so we got to go to all the street side stands and bakeries and the street market, and it was really cool.
I ate a sandwich that was like the size of my head that day. It was awesome. Going back to Paris on Saturday afternoon kind of pulled the trip all together. I mean, that's where we started, and that's where we were gonna end it.
I love Paris in the springtime.
Back in Paris, we first went to see the Louvre, which was enormous. I hear you can walk for miles inside. The outside was just as beautiful, just as enormous. And there were a lot of sights and things to do and see outside the Louvre. Plenty of street performers singing and dancing, and also a lot of street vendors, lots of really cool artwork to see and to buy on the street. And a lot of kids got to see Notre Dame as well. At the end of the day, we all took a cruise, a Paris by night cruise on the River Seine, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
Everyone in the movies goes up to the Eiffel Tower at night, and it was just crazy to actually be there and be able to experience that.
It's just what Paris is all about. Even when I was little, I didn't know anything about Paris except for the Eiffel Tower. So all my dreams came true.
I loved seeing the people, eating their food, tasting their wine, seeing the buildings and the chateaus that were around before America was even thought about. It blows your mind when you really think about it, and then to think, I was there. I was in the middle of all of that history. I loved every second.
Everything about it was fun. Everything about it was new. Even smells I never smelled before. Noises I never even heard before. I would definitely do it again if I had a chance.
They tried to teach us their culture, whether it be their language or their history or whatever, but just everyone was incredibly nice.
I got to meet a lot of new people. I got to bond with some of my professors. It was just nice to be, out of the school environment, but still be around people that you go to school with and make new friends. It was just a great experience.
It just all becomes real, and it is an experience of your own now. It's part of your history. So it's just so much better, I think, to be there and see it and feel it and touch it and taste it than to just read it in a book.
But I would definitely go again and again. I want to go back. I want to take my family.
And that was our fabulous trip to France. Au revoir!